This is the Rebel Scum Podcast. Available in video on YouTube and audio wherever you listen to your podcasts. Every week, Brock and James talk the latest rumors, news, and theories from a galaxy far, far away. Support us on Patreon for exclusive offers and join the Star Wars discussion. Patreon.com/RebelScumPodcast. Here are your hosts, Brock and James.
You're always scum. Rebel scum.
Hey, never tell me the odds, scumbags. We always talk about odds, and I don't know why, because we never want any of you to tell us about them, because that kind of defeats the purpose of odds in the Star Wars universe. I'm Andrew Fantasia, and look who's joining me. It's executive producer Heidi Fetter. Hello, Heidi.
Hello, Andrew.
It has been a good 27 years since we've recorded anything together.
I think so. Thank God.
What's been going on in your Star Wars life since the last time we talked?
Well, I mean, I didn't get to see it, but I was in Toronto a couple months ago for Fan Expo.
Oh, you know what? I remember that. I remember you were selling your book there, right?
Uh-huh. Yep.
Yes, that's right.
I sold a couple. Stuff fun.
Ah, nice.
And
Yeah,
I did run into Brock for a little bit, and I met Darth Ward. But
yes, Darth Ward makes a lot of appearances at those things. That's good. Yeah, I'm glad you had a good time there.
And they also have this to help me sleep at night. So.
Hey, look at that! Look at that brick. Hold on. Oh, we can compare bricks.
Well, over there, you won't see him, but actually knocked us on the floor, and the cat just ran out of the room because it made such a thud.
You know what? Most people run out of the room when I pull this out, so I don't blame your cat one bit. That's awesome. I actually had one of my students just bought a copy of Side Scroller, and he brought it to class yesterday, and he's like, "Can you sign my book?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Please be better in class. Love, Andrew." But today we're not talking about books. I don't think any of our things have to do with books. No, they have to do with movies and Disney Plus, Heidi, because there's a lot of Star Wars stuff going on in the world of Disney Plus.
Yeah.
You're all caught up on Andor and everything, right? I won't be spoiling anything.
Mm-hmm.
Quick side bar before we start. What are your overall kind of thoughts on Andor?
I thought it was amazing. I actually liked it better than Rogue One, and I thought Rogue One, I think I put number 3 on James' list. Spoilers, but that's probably one of my favorite Star Wars movies. That actually knocked out Return of the Jedi for me. But yeah,
Cool.
I great. It was definitely I liked it. Even though I like the sci-fi fantasy of Star Wars, I also kind of like how this is more like sci-fi in the sense that it's more down to earth. You know, it's kind of gritty, and it's like, yeah, Luke blew up the Death Star, but you know where these people have to get to get the plans to Luke to do it. You know,
right? Yeah, and the whole world, or all these corners of the Star Wars world that Andor showed us was dark and frightening in ways that, like, it's for the first time, it really made me scared to live in Palpatine's empire.
right?
Because before it just felt like a fun old adventure, and you could go hop around planets and, you know, shoot people and make friends with green folks. But here it's like, no. If you live in the Empire, that's bad news.
Yeah.
And Andor spelled that out more clear than anything. It's a fantastic show, which is why it ended up being the focus of at least one of our odds today. So here's our first odd, Heidi.
Okay.
Never tell me the odds, but in this case, you can tell me the odds. I won't hold it against you. What are the odds? Bix Colleen, the character played by Adria Arjona, what are the odds she will have a major role in the rebellion?
Oh, I hope so. I don't know. If she does, I don't think she's gonna make it to Rogue One. Let me put it that way, because obviously something happened. I think there's some sort of connection between Andor and Jyn Erso, which seemed rushed when you first watched Rogue One, but when you when you watch Andor's journey, it kind of makes sense now how their maybe romance happened so quickly. But I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go 40% because I don't know. I could see her in the rebellion, but I don't think she's gonna live very long. I just don't see her living very long. That's the only problem.
I think that's a good call. She's in rough shape when we say goodbye to her at the end of season 1. She's just been tortured for a long time by the Imperials. And you're right. By the time Rogue One rolls around, if there's this woman who's so important to Cassian Andor, if she's still part of his everyday life, you'd think she would be part of that story. So chances are good she might be gone by the time we get to Rogue One. So maybe in terms of being a big deal in the rebellion, I'll go pretty low too. I'll go around like 22%. She might try to do her own little thing, but I don't. As far as the Rebel Alliance, Mon Mothma's Rebel Alliance, I don't think Bix is ever going to be a super big part of that, if at all. But here's hoping, because I like Bix.
Yeah,
she's a nice lady. Sticking in the realm of Disney Plus, actually, all 3 of our odds today are on Disney Plus stuff. What are the odds, Heidi, that Boba Fett, that guy with the green hat, as I call him, appears in Mando season 3?
I'm gonna go 90%. I feel like show up. He may have an interest in maybe he'll have an interest in the what's it called, the waters of. I don't necessarily pay attention to every little detail, though. The living waters of Mandalore.
Okay. Uh-huh.
It sounded like he didn't want to necessarily stick on that planet. Maybe he's going to leave the planet. Maybe he's going to leave Tatooine to Cobb Vanth, and maybe he's going to want to seek the throne himself. So I'm going to go 90%. I think he might make a cameo. Maybe not as dramatic as a cameo as Din made in his show, but I definitely think he will pop up in season 3.
I'm thinking cameo feels right too, and I think you're right. I think it'll be a small one. I will go around 60% for this one. His cameo, or rather his appearance being a cameo, it makes sense to me because, like you said, you're talking about the waters of Mandalore and all this Mandalore stuff. Mandalore, the planet and the culture, looks like it's all over this season. Like it looks like it's all, this whole season is all about that world and that culture. And the thing about Boba Fett is, yeah, he looks great in that suit, but he's, according to what we've heard in some part of canon that I can't remember off the top of my head where we heard this, but Jango's kind of just, he was just kind of appropriating that culture when he put his silver and blue thing on, right? Like Jango killed a Mandalorian and stole that. So I feel like to Boba, the stakes going on this planet are not really his problem. He might get into a situation like you're saying where it's like he'll pop in and help because it's like, hey, you helped me on Tatooine, I'll return the favor. But I don't think this is going to be Boba Fett heavy just because it's going to be Mandalorian heavy. It'd be nice if we saw like a flashback of Jango stealing that armor, but I don't think that's here or there.
You know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see like Daniel Logan, because Daniel Logan doesn't look that different from Tamara Morrison. I would like to see like Daniel Logan in live action play a young Boba Fett. That's what I want to see. Maybe, I know it's kind of off topic, but maybe in a pre Mandalorian show. I don't necessarily think Andor, but maybe something else.
Hey man, any excuse to get Daniel Logan back. That kid's great and he loves Star Wars and he loves being part of it. So yeah, I'm all for it. And if we get to see Jango in some flashbacks, sure, why not? That all the more the merrier. And then of course,
see Daniel Logan stealing Jango's as Jango Fett stealing the armor. Who knows?
Yeah, that's a great point because it's the same guy. It's a clone, right?
Yeah.
And you can't have that era bounty hunters without maybe even an appearance from our friend Cad Bane, who, you know, it was nice seeing him in Book of Boba Fett, but yeah, you can throw him in other things too. He's got a big hat. All right, I like this. I'm already liking. I was already excited for Mandalorian season 3, Heidi. Now even more so because of these ideas. And last but not least, this one's tricky. What are the odds of a second season of Obi-Wan Kenobi?
I think there's a lot you could do, and that's definitely you could stick Daniel Logan in as Boba Fett if you wanted to. I I would think it would be a go. I'm not sure. I'm just gonna go 55%. I'm gonna go a little bit over full Brock, but I think the fans would want it. At least the fans who like it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. You said the magic word there, Heidi. The fans who like it, and I feel like just above full Brock is the perfect place for this. I'm going to copy you because you're smart, and I like the way you think. I'm going to also go 55% because lots of people thought Obi-Wan Kenobi was pretty cool, and
Yeah.
lots of other people thought Obi-Wan Kenobi was pretty rough. And I feel like both groups of people are 100% right. So it's such a strange show. It has such glorious peaks and valleys to it.
Yeah.
So on the one hand, Disney Plus could be saying like, "Ooh, it feels like we screwed the pooch. Let's leave that alone and never speak of it again." But they could also say, "Wow, we had a really cool show on our hands, and we have the chance to improve on it, and
Yeah.
give the naysayers something to look at and be like, oh wow, this show is good if we do a season 2." So it really could tip the scales either way. If we did get a season 2, Heidi, what would you want to see that would, I don't know what your opinion on the first season was overall, but what would you want to see to either make it better or keep the good flows going? You know what I mean?
I think maybe I would like to see a little bit more of Leia. Maybe not actually interact with Obi-Wan. Maybe he just watching over from afar, or maybe I would like to hear a discussion between Obi-Wan and Yoda about how Yoda wanted to train Leia instead of Luke.
Right. That's a good call.
One thing I would have liked, I was disappointed. It sounded like Bale was going to go to Tatooine to help Owen, and I thought that would have been an interesting interaction and then talk about Luke and Leia and everything, but that didn't happen. So I thought he was going to go and help Owen protect Luke, but that didn't happen because he said he was going, which is how she found out about Luke. But
right. Yeah, that show had a lot of it felt like it was not promising a lot of things, but it put a lot of ideas in our head, and I don't think anybody got what they thought they were getting. I thought we were getting like a buddy cop story or a buddy travel story between Obi-Wan and Uncle Owen.
yeah,
And they would like grudgingly respect each other and all that stuff. And then Beru would pop in and she'd be like, "Hey, what's up? I'm running this farm now. Like, you guys got to listen to me." And Luke is gonna like, I was hoping we'd see some cool, like badass moments with Beru. And thankfully we got that. It just took 6 episodes to get there. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was disappointed. Like, I thought maybe there'd be like something where like Leia draws this picture of this woman, and then Obi-Wan sees it and he's like, "How do you know her?" And "Oh, she's my mother. I have dreams about her," or something.
Ooh.
I would have liked that. That didn't happen either. But you can't get. There's a lot of things I would have done with the sequels, the prequels, the original trilogy that I would like to have had done. So
that would have been a really sweet moment.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I thought it was sweet when she asked if he was her father.
Yes, right? Because she's still just like, she knows, she's smart enough to know, like, as much as I love the Organas and being part of their family, there's more out there and I want to know about myself. And that little moment is great. And it's so important to me to keep reminding myself that before that happened, we never got any interaction between Obi-Wan and Leia, even though in A New Hope, she knows who he is. So it's nice to see that they get this little story together. I feel like I'm good, even though I think the season had a lot of low points. I feel like I'm good, and I don't want a second season because I want to be careful with how much we take Obi-Wan off of Tatooine and all that. If there is one thing that I thought would have been cool to see that I didn't see happen, because the show gave me the one thing I wanted, which is Obi-Wan finding out Anakin's alive. So thank you for that. But the only time, this is like so petty, Heidi, you're going to be like, really, Andrew, this is what you want? Like, who cares? But I thought it would have been cool to see Obi-Wan go back to Naboo.
Yeah.
I want to see Naboo again, period.
Yeah.
And that would have been kind of a nice little way to put a bow at the end of the prequel era, because the prequel era started with Obi-Wan landing on Naboo. So if we get a second season, that's the only real like bucket listy thing I have left to see. But other than that, I think they gave us what we needed out of an Obi-Wan show. I
didn't really read the comics, but I think there was a comic where Leia went to Naboo and she like walked down this archway and she could sense like Darth Maul had been there. Maybe something like that. I wouldn't mind. That would be an interesting take. But that might have happened after A New Hope, so I don't know if that would work, but maybe something like that, like she goes to Naboo and she kind of senses something. I mean, maybe she gets a series, or maybe Bale gets a series. I don't know.
Hey, I'd be down for that. And you're right, that was a great moment in the comics, actually, when Leia, when she was like right in the doors where Darth Maul pops out, and that's why she was like, "Ooh, something's up." And they've even done in the comics, they've even done Vader going and opening Padme's tomb.
Right.
So the comics have been good to Naboo, but the like, it's such, to me, it's probably the most beautiful looking planet that Star Wars has ever given us to date. So I want to see it on the screen again, whether it's the small screen or the big screen. And the big screen would be pretty nice. But so maybe next season, maybe next show, but Naboo, Lake Como, Italy, wherever, Lucasfilm, take us back there. You know you want to. They have gondolas.
I was just thinking, maybe this makes me a horrible person. I think Andor's supposed to end like right before Rogue One begins, but part of me kind of wants to see like maybe afterwards, like you have Bale and the Queen Beru, was that her name?
Bale's wife?
Yeah.
Breha.
Yeah, I didn't realize if I watched that he was the Prince Consort, not the Prince Royal. But but I want to see them like out on their terrace on Alderaan, and like the shadow just comes over. Ooh. And it's like a moment like on The Force Awakens when they're like on Hazi Prime, and I know that sounds terrible, but I kind of want to see that reaction like they did on Hazi Prime and The Force Awakens.
That's a great point, though. I think you're going to get your wish, Heidi, because if any show is going to dare to go dark enough to show us that moment, the last tea that the Organas ever drink as they look up, Andor's the show that's going to do it.
Yeah. So, but I don't know, because that ends like right before Rogue One begins, so I'm not sure, but Yeah,
that's true. The timing might be tricky.
But they might go, I don't know.
They might. That would actually be a cool little thing that they might do that people wouldn't expect is, go up to Rogue One, but maybe like a little 3-minute montage in the final episode that shows the ramifications of Andor's actions.
Right.
Obviously, we know one of those big ramifications is A New Hope, but you never know. Other stuff could be there. And specifically how his actions and how the actions of Rogue One affected all these new characters we've met, like Bix, like Cyril and Daedra and all those people. So why not? You never know. I'm looking forward to that season so much. I can't believe we have to wait till 2024. Somebody just put me in carbonite and unfreeze me when that show is ready. Well, Heidi, these have been 3 fantastic odds. You have been fantastic as always. Thank you so much for odding it up.
You haven't been too bad this time, so.
Thank you. I tried to tone it down this time just to make everything kosher. Okay. All right. Well, until next time, everybody, may the force of others be with you. And Heidi, you were always scum.
And you are always scum.
Indeed.
Hey scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.